Diane Dalton. I'm going to give a little presentation to try and help you understand the enum command, which is short for enumeration. I'm going to show you this example from chapter 3 with the enumeration for the assignment called month names. In this assignment, you're supposed to enter a month number into a text box, click a button called Get Month, and then you will get a result with the text. So let's go look at the code behind here and see what happens, how we do this. Right, so we have our usual set of using that the tool puts in for us. And then we have our class definition. The class we're defining is the form, and that's that user interface. What we're going to look at first is we've done this enum month. Okay, so what enum is really doing is it's defining a new type. We're calling that type month, and note with a capital M. Okay, so capitalization is very important in C#. And what we're doing is we're saying this type is always going to be integer, because that's all enumeration works with. But it's just a limited set are valid. Alright, so for this example, month, the only valid numbers are 1 through 12. And what we do is then we put in a name where we'd rather give them by a string name to identify them and list them here. If you recall, computer programmers start counting at 0, and everything by default starts at 0. So if you don't want January to be 0, you can redefine it as 1, and then it will count the rest of them up from 1. Now if we wanted to give them different numbers, we could do that. You could put a number in for each one at this time that you declare the type month. Right, so that's declaring it. And please notice this has to be within the class. So here's our class definition. So it's outside of any other methods. Right, so let's go down and look at the method for the button click. This is what happens within that method. I've defined an integer variable called month input. I've defined a type month variable called MO. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the variable from my text box 1. I have to read the text property. That's what was typed into it. Okay, I have to convert that to an integer. That's what this convert.toInt32 is. And I'm going to assign that to the name month input. So that's my variable. Now what I have to do to get MO to be a enum type, one of these, I have to cast that integer as an enumerated month. Okay, so this is called a typecast. Or we know that month input had to be an integer already, but now I'm taking it and saying it's got to be one of this type of integer. Right, so I'm casting it into the variable MO. And then at the end I type that out, and what I'm doing is converting that, formatting that into the actual label that I'm using for my enumeration. It's very helpful when you have a limited set of valid numbers. I'm going to also post a link on the internet with a very good description as well. Okay, so let's go run this and see how it works. We're going to go to the debug tab, start debugging, pull my window within here. So we're going to enter a number, an integer, and click Get Month. And yes, the correct result is May. I can put 10. Get the correct result is October. Okay, what if I put a number that's larger than 12? Well, it can't cast it as a enum. It's not going to find a label for it, so it just returns the same integer. Alright, hopefully this helps.